So this is the exact post-purchase flow that we set up inside of Klaviyo for every e-commerce brand that we work with. I'm going to show you the full setup and every email that we send so that you can copy this into your store. Now the post-purchase flow is the most important flow in your entire business because the moment someone hits buy on your website, there's a small voice in their head that's thinking, am I actually going to get this product? Did I make the right decision? Is this legit? That's classic buyer's remorse, and it kicks in the moment someone hands you their money. If there's silence between when a customer places that order and when they receive their order, well then that buyer's remorse gets out of hand and you've blown your first impression of your business, despite how good your product is or how quickly it arrives. This flow is how you fix that and make customers feel like they made the right decision. And it's also how you turn one-time buyers into people that buy from you multiple times without you spending a single extra dollar on ads. For context, my name's Milan, I run Hamilton Emails. We're Gold Klaviyo partners, and we work with over 100 businesses around the world and generated over $40 million in email marketing revenue. What I'm going to show you in this video is not theory, it is what is working right now inside client accounts. I'm going to walk you through the Klaviyo setup, the triggers, the conditional splits, and the exact emails that we send for different clients that we work with, from supplements to kids' toys to meal delivery services, etc. So no matter what you sell, you'll see exactly how to build this flow for your business. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm inside of my Klaviyo test account, and the way you set up a post-purchase flow is you click on Flows on the top left here, then you click on Create Flow, and then you're going to see a search bar, and on that search bar, you just want to write thank, and you want to select this flow, customer thank you, new versus returning. And what that essentially does is personalize your post-purchase flow to whether someone buys from you for the first time or buys from you as a repeat customer. We want to click Use Template to set that up, and it's going to automatically build inside of Klaviyo. And this is the general structure. So you can see that there's a conditional split here to personalize whether someone has bought one time, in which case they go into the left side of this flow, or the right side, where they're a repeat customer. And the first thing I want to do is, just for this delay, I want to change this from 1 day to just 1 or 2 minutes. Why I want to change it to 2 minutes and not make it 0 is because we want to send the first email immediately after someone purchases, because right after they give you their money, there's a little bit of buyer's remorse going on. They're thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I've just given my money. And we want to send something as soon as possible. The reason why it's not 0 minutes is because sometimes it takes time for the data between Klaviyo and Shopify to actually sync. And for this flow to properly send to everybody, we want to set it to 2 minutes just so the data can sync and then Klaviyo can properly pick up on the trigger. So in terms of how we structure our flow, for first-time customers, the logic is we want to almost over-communicate. We want to send as much value as we can before people get their product. And then after they receive their item, then we can start to think about upsells, or we can start to think about asking for reviews, etc. But it's throw value at them. That's the logic. And this is especially important for first-time customers. So I'm just going to add some emails here, and I'm going to do that by clicking the 3 dots and clicking Clone underneath these emails. And then do that a few times just to make sure we have 3 emails in here. And then we want to add a delay between these emails, which you can do like that. I'm just going to add a 1-day delay between that email and that email. So the logic between the delays of these emails, if you have very fast shipping times, you want to get your value in before the product actually arrives. Whereas if you have longer shipping delays, you can afford to send your emails with a little bit more gaps between them. Now for repeat customers, we don't actually need to have as many emails on this side, because this is a customer that's already purchased from you, and they already know that you're not a scammer, right? You ship your products, it arrives, and they like your products enough that they're willing to come back. So we don't actually have to validate their buying decision as much as we do for new customers. However, we still want to send an email that's like, hey, thanks again for returning, etc. Now, this is the general basic flow structure. However, if you want to go one step above, you can personalize the first few emails of this flow based on what category or product a customer has purchased from you. So let's say, for example, you have 3 big categories of products that you sell. You can personalize the first email to be like, hey, thank you for buying a piece of clothing from us. Or hey, thank you for buying a piece of protein powder from us. So the way you set up that conditional split is you just click this plus above the email here. You go Add, you go to Logic, you go to Conditional Split. And the split is you go what someone has or has not done, and then you click fulfilled order, and then you click this button over here, and then over here you want to type in either collection or product ID, and that's not coming up here because it's not actually linked to a Shopify account, but it will come up for you. And then for equals, you want to select what collection or what product specifically is personalized for. So let's say, for example, in this example, if they select clothing as the collection. If the customer has selected clothing, well, then they'll go into the yes side. And if they haven't, well, they'll go into the no side. And you can make another conditional split here for example, your second category, if it's food. And they'll go into the yes for that, and then they'll go into the no if they're not in that. And then how you link it back, you just drag this and you put it right back over there. So for clothing customers, you'd put an email over here. For protein customers, you'd put them over here. And if you want to add a conditional split, you can add that here again as well, so it's personalized. And it all links back to this under new customer, and they continue going through the rest of the flow like normal. So that's how you set up your triggers in Klaviyo. Let's move on to the actual content so we can talk through what to send in your emails. Quick pause, if this all seems a little bit overwhelming, my team can help build this post-purchase flow for your business. There's a link in the description for you to book in a call directly with me and see if we can help. So click that now if you want to chat, otherwise let's get back to the video. So the first brand I'm going to show you is a health supplement brand. And what we do is like we showed in Klaviyo, we break this flow down whether you're a new customer or a returning customer. So if you're a new customer, you get this sequence. If you're a returning customer, you just get this email. So this is what the first email of your post-purchase flow should look like. It's like, hey, your journey starts here. You want to really validate their decision and just confirm that you got their order alongside your order confirmation and shipping confirmation emails. So here we say your hydration journey starts now. The next steps to peak performance are this. Your order is going to ship within 24 hours. You can track using our real-time updates, which you're going to receive in another email, and start hydrating smarter from day one. So if you go through, we have a link to their socials and they can click and follow their Instagram. And that's a really nice trick just to help people actually see that you're a real business. If they follow you on Instagram, they can see you posting, they can see people engaging with your posts, and they know that you're a legit business because of that. Or it just helps to ease their worries if they are a little bit worried that you're a real business. And then we give a bit of value in terms of here's the benefits. We re-emphasize the benefits of what the customer has bought into. We say, hey, enhanced nerve signaling for sharper mental focus is what you're signing up for. You get optimized muscle contractions during your workouts, etc., and all of these awesome things. And that's what we send immediately. So after the first email, we send another email one day later. And in this email, the focus is helping the customer get better use out of the product that they purchase. And here's the thing, we actually want to send this before they actually get their item because it does a few things. One, it makes sure they have the information. So we're going through precision protocols here and we're giving them a bit of tips and tricks on how to use the product better, etc. But we want to send this before they get their item because this helps them actually have the information when they receive it, for one. And number two, if we go through the effort of giving this value before they get their item, the customer is inherently just thinking, oh, okay, well, there's no way they scammed us now. They've gone through all the effort to send me this information. Why would they scam us? If they're really scamming us, they wouldn't do this. So it's a twofold strategy that we use here to kind of help reduce buyer's remorse. So what we do in this email, it's like, hey, here's a precision protocol, here's some tips and tricks. And here's a bit more social proof. Other customers like you who've bought this and gotten a lot of value from this product. And we just re-emphasize the benefits of what they signed up for. This is what's in the products, and they can click through to see what the ingredients are of our products and really just reinforce the benefits, etc. Then, once the customer actually receives the product, then we start thinking about how can we upsell them. So we upsell bundles, we offer the chance to mix and match flavors for their next order, and we cross-sell different items. Now, once we've sent enough value, it's only after that point can we think about upselling. So over here, it's like, hey, here are some bundles that we sell. Hope you're enjoying your order, power up and keep going on your journey with this bundle or this bundle. You can mix and match, or you can add a bottle, that'll help. And we always ask for items and upsells first, because if people don't engage with that, then we can just ask for a downsell and ask for a review. That's a sales thing where you ask for a lot, and then if they say no to that, well then you say, fine, okay, well, what about this? And it's like a reciprocity thing. They've always said no to the first thing, so they feel a bit more compelled to say yes to the second thing. And a review is still valuable for your business, so we definitely want to ask for that in the post-purchase flow. So if you're a repeat customer of Elite, we don't send as many emails as we do if you were a first-time customer. However, we still want to acknowledge and thank them for coming back to us. So we send this email here. It's like consistency speaks for itself. Thanks for your continued trust. We again link to socials because that is a big thing. And then we send a little bit of value. It's like, hey, here's the formula. Remember the protocol? We told you this the first time. Here it is again for your second order. Make sure you stick to it. And again, thank you for your order. So nice and simple, just acknowledge and thank them for coming back and give a little bit of value, but we don't need to overdo it like we did for first-time buyers. So that's Elite. Now I'm going to show you two more examples using this structure to really nail down how you can make this work for your business. And then I'm going to show you two more complicated examples which deviate from this normal standard format. So for Toybox, the first thing we say is, hey, thank you for your purchase. Your toys are in the workshop and we'll be with you soon. And we actually ask for people's SMS in this email flow as well, because this is a powerful channel and we want to do what we can to get people's phone number. And then we just send an email from the founders just thanking them for their purchase. Now, a day later, we send a bit of an update. And this is a plain text email, which looks like it's directly from the founders itself. And this performs extremely well in your post-purchase because it really makes the customer feel like you care about their experience. And like I said, this is really important in reducing buyer's remorse. Email 3, now we're sending a bit more value. We actually send a guide that parents are going to find useful to help them keep their toys clean. So here's some actual tips that are genuinely useful, and we send over a guide, which is useful. And then once people have received their item, now we're actually recommending other items that people can purchase. So these guys sell a lot of products. We try to make a curated selection for each type of customer. So we give bestsellers by age. So if you're 0 to 12 months, we make recommendations all the way up to children all the way up to 12 years old. And then we send another email. It's like, hey, here's different toys based on what activities your kids like. So if they like reading, they can use this. If they like building, this is good. If they like wearing stuff, this is good. If they want to learn, this is a good recommendation, etc. So the key theme of this, value first and over communicate value and then go into your upsells. Now for people returning, we don't obviously go into that much detail. We just send this one email. It's like, hey, you're officially a regular. Same thing, follow us on socials and sign up to SMS. And again, here's a message from the founder just saying, thanking them for their order. But we don't go as crazy as this because they probably received this flow on their first purchase. One more example here. This is an education brand. And after a customer makes their first order with this brand, we send this email, which is an order confirmation. And then second email, we add value. It's, hey, here's some tips that are going to help you and your child have a better learning experience. And then email 3, we cross-sell different items, and then email 4, we ask for a review. And then same thing here for repeat purchases. If you buy from this company for a second time or third time, you just get this confirming the order and thanking them for their purchase. Now, here's where it gets a little bit complicated. Now, this is a brand which sells genetic testing kits for newborn babies, and it has a little bit more complicated of a post-purchase experience because after you purchase, you get a testing kit, and then you have to do the test on your child and then send it back. So this is what the flow looks like. It's first off, you can see it's just a lot more emails than it was for some of the other brands. But what we want to do here, because this is a complicated journey, we just want to make it very clear what the process will be to the customer. So for example, first up, we thank people for trusting the company. Always want to thank customers. And we tell people what's exactly going to happen. This is what's going to happen in your child's genetic health screen. This is what's happening. And this is what the process is going to look like. Now, here's the thing. The process has already been laid out on the website and customers know this when they purchase. However, it's really helpful just to send this in an email so that it's easily accessible, so that if they freak out down the line, they can just go back to their email and they can see that the process is right here in their email inbox. We also reinforce the parent's decision to buy from us by talking about privacy and how all the data stays with us and we comply with regulations. And that's a big hesitation that people have to actually handing over their data. So important that we address it in the post-purchase flow. Then as the testing kit is shipping out, we send the instructions on how to actually make the collection. So we give an exact step-by-step guide on how to actually perform the test and send it back, which you can see over here. And then once they ship their kit back, we send this email to help them schedule their consult. And on top of that, instead of just giving admin, we are always reinforcing their decision to take this test. So we're giving more value here. We're also have a link over here for you to go back to the website and learn a bit more about the science and just reinforcing the decision. We're always reinforcing people's decision. And that's especially important for a brand like this, where you make a purchase and you actually get your test results a month later. People are very excited when they sign up, but then over the course of a month, they might feel really happy about it, they might feel worse about it. So we always want to be sending value, which reinforces their decision at this early point, so that when they receive the results, we haven't blown our first impression. So you can see that here, we send another email where it says understanding what we test for, and we give more information on what makes a gene worth screening, and then we send more information about our process. Here's how it works, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and why it's important, etc. And then finally, we send how to read your child's genetic report slightly before it actually arrives. And again, the reason we do this, it's a two-pronged approach. It's so people know exactly how to use the product once they get it. And number two, if we go out of our way to send value, it's another signal to the customer that we're not trying to rip them off, and we're actually going to send the report to them. Then after we've added value properly, that's when we actually start asking for upsells and asking people to refer and leave reviews and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can see how they do that here. So the final example I have for you is for a meal delivery service, and this is slightly different to the average example because this is a subscription. People will sign up for a meal delivery and they will get a meal every week or every couple of weeks on subscription. So they don't really have to prioritize upsells or cross-sells or that sort of thing because it's built into the business. The first thing that we do for this brand is we send an email thanking them for their order and setting expectations. And one thing else we do is we kind of subtly solve objections that people might have to buying food online. And I'll show you how I do that here. So first thing is, hey, we're excited to start cooking for you. Your meals are being prepared. Here's the normal shipping timelines. So depending on where you are in America, it's gonna take this amount of time. And we solve objections here because when people buy food online, their biggest objection is that the food's gonna go bad before it gets to them. So we tell them it's gonna take 1 to 3 days to ship. And we really emphasize that we chill the food with the help of dry ice, so it will not go bad when it comes to you. And this is a very big objection when people are shopping for food online. Shortly after that email sends, we send this email, which is a little bit more well-designed. And it's like, we've just made an awesome choice, thanks for your order. And we send a video from the chef just to help reinforce that it's a real company and we're actually shipping for them. And get them into our ecosystem, because if they follow our Instagram, they're gonna get our posts and that helps them buy into the brand. Then we send another email that is solving another objection that people might have. And with this business, people are worried that they're gonna miss their delivery. Now, people don't wanna miss their delivery because if it sits out for too long, it might go bad. So we wanna really ease their mind to worrying about this sort of thing. So we say, hey, we have a chiller machine, which keeps your food cool. We have dry ice, and it's gonna keep your food cool. So it's not gonna go bad. Also, we're gonna let you know in advance before it arrives, 1 to 2 hours before it arrives, so that you know exactly when it will come and you can take it inside and put it into your fridge and keep it safe. And then we link people to a video of the founders explaining this in detail, so people don't freak out. This might seem like we're going overboard. However, it is important to do this because there's always gonna be some customers that require this, and it's better to over communicate and it be unnecessary than under communicate and people freak out and then they start leaving bad reviews and causing chargebacks, etc. So it's really important that you do over communicate in the post-purchase flow. I just want to reinforce how important it is. And then finally, we send this email right before we think the product's going to arrive, but it's before you open your meals. Follow our social media, and here's some tips to help handle the dry ice properly so it doesn't get in trouble. And again, we send this email slightly before the food arrives for the 2 reasons which you should already know by now. Number 1, make sure they have it. And number 2, reinforces that we're not trying to rip off the customers. So we have a quick guide on how to handle dry ice and not get injured. And then we have a bit of tips on how to help people enjoy their meal and have the best experience with what we've cooked for them. And we give them some information on how to store the meals as well. And if there's any issues, we want to have our customer support line easily available here for people to just click and respond with any issues. So that's exactly how we set up post-purchase flows for the brands that we work with. If you set this up, you're gonna stop losing customers after their first purchase with you, and you're gonna build a brand and community that people actually tell their friends about. Now, if you want help setting this up, you can book in a call with me with the link in the description. My agency, Hamilton Emails, has built post-purchase flows for over 100 businesses around the world, from publicly listed businesses down to businesses spending $5,000 to $10,000 a month on Meta. So if this sounds overwhelming, that's fine. We can do it for you. Book in a call and we'll chat soon. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe because I post videos on email marketing every single week and there's a lot more of this coming. So we'll chat soon, or I'll see you in the next one.